Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Hello.
GeekGirlCon Twitch stream. Um, Tonight we are doing a craft. As you can see, we've got the big craft screen here. My name is Tina Burns. Pronouns are she, her. I am the social media manager for GeekGirlCon. And with me tonight is my lovely Emerald. I'm not sure if she's above me or below me, but she's with
I'm
me.
below, obviously, because you're the manager.
Hey now, Emerald.
Hello, I am Emerald, and my introduction for myself is that I am also on the social media team for GeekGirlCon. So we got social media repping tonight,
Ooh,
crafting.
yeah.
What's up?
Yeah,
Crafting.
so ah, it is tonight is my first crafting kind of live stream, so there's a lot of caveats. It's also we're going to be doing some lino cutting. It's also only my third time doing this. So, something you might not know about me is I like to think I'm really good at things and then just do them. And then I want to share that with everybody. So that's what we're doing tonight. This is a, this is the first piece that I made. This is the actual print. I will grab this is the end result.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
from the actual Lino Cut. And I made this for my sisters. They came for my birthday this year and we did a wine weekend. So I made prints for them and I printed it on little gift bags. Even though it was my birthday, I gave gift bags. I don't know. That's just the kind of person I am. And I fell in love with it. So then I wanted to do it again and share it with our viewers. And yeah, so a couple things about tonight. We are actually going to be doing the lino cutting live. You will see my screen. Emerald will just keep showing hers as we ask her to show it along. We have Prime on with us tonight, so she is paying attention to chat. So please feel free to ask us questions, make comments. If it looks like I'm listening to, Starfleet command, it's because Prime is in my ear telling me telling us what you all are asking. If you have questions or comments, she's going to be letting us know what's happening. And I think that's it. Are you excited?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm like, what
Okay.
is all this stuff that came in my kit? I don't know what this is.
Okay.
What things am I supposed to use? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Okay. So I
But I'm
um
excited. You know I love crafting, so
I accosted Emerald with this. I was like, "You're doing this. Here's the thing." So let me grab um let's talk about this for a second. So,
always willing
um
to be attacked with craft supplies.
so what is Lino Cut? So basically it's a print making art form. You are essentially using linoleum to make it's called a relief printing, and that means you're basically cutting away everything but the design. You will also see this in like wood block printing. Um, Same concept. So that is essentially what lino cutting is. There are different kinds of linoleum. Tonight's topic, or I guess art piece, we are crafting sea monsters since it's our August month of second half of summer. We're talking about all things ocean and sea and water. So we went with sea monsters tonight. Okay, so let's see. I've got a list here. I'm going to go through. So let's talk supplies. Let's see if you can see this.
Ooh, such an organized box of supplies.
Only just.
Just recently, such a just recently organized box of
Yeah.
supplies.
So what you need for this fun process, we need a pencil, we need a Sharpie or a permanent marker. Um, you are going to want to have tracing paper. So I have, this is actually vellum, but it does the same thing. Emerald's showing you tracing paper. Here's a little pad that you can buy. It can come in big pad. Get that out of the way. You will need linoleum. So there's a couple different kinds. This is called, it's just, they call it by its color, so it's gray. The cool thing about this one is it's got some fibers on the back.
Oh.
So it's definitely a little bit stiffer. You can see how it's thin.
So
Um,
I have done this once before in college. I took a bookbinding printmaking class, and I
mhm.
had the kind that had the textures on it. I was like, I wonder if that is the same thing. I remember kind of carving things
It
and
is the
but it
same thing. There's just different
okay.
kinds of linoleum. So that's one kind.
Cool.
There's also one that's also thin, but doesn't have fibers in it, but it does have texture on the backside, so you know which one's front and which one's back. And then there's this soft, squishy kind, which is probably more recognizable.
That's what I
That's
have.
what you're going to be using tonight. Emerald's using tonight. It's more recognizable in like almost a stamp. Um, there's benefits to all of them, and we can talk about that. Obviously, this gray one with fiber is pretty stiff. This one without the fiber is a little bit more flexible. And then the soft squishy pink one, the Patrick one, is like really flexible, but it's also flexible as you're carving it. So it just depends on what you're making, what your preference is. This is very easy to carve into. This gray is going to be a little bit more challenging. And either way, you're going to want to take your time. And yeah, so there's that. These beautiful beasts are rollers, or the official term is called brayer. And there's different sizes. Excuse me. These are what we use to roll out the ink to its appropriate size and then use them to actually making the print. So in theory, you get ink on your brayer, you would ink your lino cut, put the paper on top, and that's how you make the print. Okay, you need a baron or a spoon. So I don't have either, but this is my knife tool, excuse me, and it is kind of a flat surface. Yeah, so Emerald's using a wooden spoon tonight. And it's essentially giving you pressure, like flat, even pressure as you push the paper down onto the linoleum. Carving tools. I have this one, which is interchangeable.
Oh, you have the one where you can take out like the different sharp tips and stuff. So I watched the tutorial videos that you sent, and she had the cool one where you can twist them off. But my little set just comes with, alas, just comes with separate ones. But
Alas, yeah. So
you
there's
know,
different kinds.
darn.
So Emerald has ones that are solid. You can also find um like heavier duty ones with wood handles and all kinds of ends on them. But that's what this one is, the storage.
I like that, and it has like the rounded butt that you can like kind of maybe use to manipulate your sharp edge a little
Right.
bit.
Okay, so next so ink, obviously. I've got Speedball. I think that's what I sent you as well. That is a pretty well-known brand for.
Stacks.
Oh, okay. There's all kinds, but the biggest thing is you want to find something that is block printing, relief printing, printmaker ink. The other one is just like a water-based ink. Once we're advanced and professionals at this, we could do
Oh,
crazy
next
things
time.
like, yeah, next time, our fourth time. Um, we could use inks like oils or something like that, which is a little bit fancier.
So
You
this
can
is just
also
kind of like easiest for beginners.
beginner level. You could
Nice.
do multi-color prints, and I do not remember the name of that, but there's a couple variations of way to do that. Tonight we're just doing one color, one print. that kind of thing.
So
Um,
you might think that I'm silly, but I just now realized that this is blue. I mean, I know that this is the color blue, but I thought the tube was blue
oh,
and like the ink was black, and I just realized, oh, it says blue on it. That's
you're
weird.
blue.
Oh
Your
wait, I
mermaid's gonna be blue.
no.
Yeah, blue.
Anyway.
And then the only other thing, well, that's not true. The not the only other thing, because there's a lot of things. It's an inking slab or something to roll out your ink on. I have this glass palette. You can see here. The
I
edges
think
of
that
it
is.
are, and then there's also a lot of them that are just basically little plastic trays. I have a plastic tray too, but the one thing I noticed about that is mine caught fibers a lot, so I was picking like
Oh.
just fuzz from the air out of the ink before I was trying to make my print.
Hmm.
Um, I have some extra things. I just have gloves for when I get the ink ready. Um, I like to, oh, and then in Emerald's kit, she got safety gloves because we are working essentially with knives. So, safety first on any of this kind of stuff. But I also have this stiff brush that I got in like a brush package for home decor. But as I'm working in the lino cut, it's for me, it's just like I don't want it to be messy what I'm working on, so I just kind of brush it out. So that's what that's for. We'll
Oh,
leave
I
that
was
here.
wondering what your recommended method for like getting rid of whatever we carve out of it was.
um, hands, I tap it off every once in a while, and then I just found that little stiff brush. I was trying to find a smaller one because I used to use something like this to like, but small to like have in
Mm-hmm.
the kitchen to clean mushrooms off.
Oh,
But
mushroom brush.
yeah, mushroom brush. So paper you can buy, I don't know if this is upside down or not, but
Nope,
you can
that's right.
buy, okay, good, you can buy print making paper, which is like, this is just a heavier duty cardstock. It's got a little bit of texture. um I have also some, I believe this is washi paper, so it's a roll of just fibrous paper. um, you can really do the printing on anything. It doesn't have to be fancy paper, but in theory, if you're making a print like as a gift or something to hang on the wall, you kind of want it to look good.
Not just like printer paper.
Yeah, not just printer paper, exactly. So the cool thing about lino cutting is that you can buy all of these separate if you want, these little, or you can buy kits. Um, I have this kit, which is where I started. And this is really nice because it basically has everything you need, except for paper. So it gives you all of the little pieces and lets you just kind of explore. There's a lot of instructions. And this company, SD, is a British company. Speedball also has some kits, and then online you can find various other kits that include a little bit or a lot of it. So that's up to you, how you want to start out, or if you want to start out. I must say, I found it very addicting, which is why we're here today.
Hey.
Yeah. Um, so this is the design. Not gonna be here. This is the design that I am gonna be working on today. Here's my little sea monster. His name's Seymour.
Oh, it's get out. I love it.
And then there's a couple ways you can transfer this to your linoleum block. So I printed mine. There's a couple different sizes. Um, and I found, based on the block that I'm going to use, which is this little gray one or tan one, that the kind of this size was going to be perfect.
That is what I did too. I printed it, although I kind of like I said, I wanted to do a mermaid, but then you sent those cute, creepy fishies, so I wanted to include that. So I kind of put them together on my iPad and then I printed out mine. And then this is my printed out mermaid with fish
I love it.
friend.
Does she have a name? Do they have names?
No, I don't think either of them have names.
Oh,
So open to suggestions for names for this mermaid and this fish.
chat if we're gonna name things. Okay, I'm actually going to redo this because I had a piece of vellum. I couldn't find my tracing paper, so I had to buy new tracing paper. And
Mm.
vellum works, but the as you can see, it kind of takes shape once you've scraped off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, um the biggest thing you want to remember when you're making a design is that your end design, your end lino cut is going to be, well, you're going to put it on backwards, essentially. So something like this, the fish, it doesn't really matter which size you use because you can, unless you absolutely need it to face a specific direction, then you're going to want it, as you put it on here, face it in the opposite direction.
So
That
if you
really
were
comes
doing
in.
like writing or
Yes,
something.
it really comes into play when you're doing writing. So for example, maybe I made a little, when I do art pieces, I usually just sign my T. So I made a little T. It's essentially how I write my T, but it's backwards.
Mm.
So that took a couple trial and errors to figure out how to
Yeah.
do that.
Well, yeah, it did confuse me too, because so I traced mine, and then on the paper, the tracing paper, and then you put the tracing paper over this, but I didn't flip it, or no, I did flip it, so it's like it keeps going back and forth. Ah!
Yeah, so the
But
one thing I did, because I wanted Seymour to be in a specific direction the first time, is I traced it and then I turned it over and traced it again
oh,
so that so I traced it this way. I traced it this way. And then I wrote on it again so that the pencil would be on this side.
mm-hmm.
And then I went over it again. And that's what I have this little, I'm showing you. I need to show you here. The popsicle.
Oh, yeah, it's hard
Look,
to remember.
the popsicle stick kind of thing. And it basically imprints that pencil onto the lino cut. So that's what
Oh,
I had
nice.
this for. So I'm going to do this really fast. Do we have any questions or comments from the
Um,
chat?
Alyssa loves Seymour the Sea Monster
Oh, yeah,
and
Seymour.
says that Sir Matzer learned that peanut butter jars and peanut butter colored peanut butter colored just recently.
Wait, say that again?
Peanut butter jars are peanut butter colored, so clear? Like, aren't peanut butter jars clear?
I know, those kind of peanut butter I buy are clear.
I mean, mine too, so.
What kind of
But
peanut
yes,
butter are you buying?
packaging can be deceiving.
Yeah, there was something that I bought recently, where it was the same, where I was like, wait a minute, this is white? This isn't clear?
It's confusing when your head thinks one thing and then you are like, wait, what?
Well, and then I just read an article about I don't remember who it is. Coke, I think, is changing their Sprite bottles to clear because you can't really recycle the green bottles. People
Mm.
are going to lose their mind over their white Sprites thinking that they don't.
What? Yeah.
What's happening?
Oh, Kraft. Oh, she says it must have been a weird Canadian brand peanut butter. Wait, and then wait, then he said Kraft, and that's not a weird Canadian brand.
I mean,
Like
that's
I've heard of it.
okay. I'm going to make him opposite. So I'm not going to trace twice this time.
Oh, well, but like once you flip it,
Yeah,
then it
so he'll
will
be
be. He'll still be facing that way, right? That's what
No,
my
because I'm gonna maybe. I don't know. That
see,
is
it
like
was
math in my
confusing.
head. It's like
No, it was
math in my head,
confusing
and that's
to me because I
we'll
was like, well,
figure
now
it out
my
together.
okay, good. I'm pretty sure that my mermaid will look like the mermaid that I printed out because it gets reversed once when I transferred it to the linoleum, but then will be reversed again when I print it.
Yeah, it's like art math.
But it still hurts my brain.
Yeah, yes, I agree. Which
And
is why I will never do text.
you'll never do what?
Text.
Oh, okay. I thought you said texts, and I was like, you don't text people like on your phone because it's math? You
Yeah.
don't get it.
I'm old. I'm an old lady. Remember, I
Yeah.
don't text on my phone. I call
Yeah, so
people.
old.
I don't.
Ugh,
I don't call
calling
people.
people is the worst. Why
I'm
would
like,
you?
why are you calling me? Just send me a text message. Um, text. No, I mean, I don't want to say never, but
Mm.
it will have to be once I get to that expert stage. So I guess maybe next time.
It is somewhat easier if you are using individual letters already and then like setting them, like into something because you can just be like, okay, we'll start at the opposite side and go that way, and then they're already all backwards for you. So that's nice.
Right.
If I had to do something myself. Although I can write in cursive backwards. So that's a
What?
skill that I have.
Say more. Tell me more about this.
I think I read in some book when I was younger that Leonardo da Vinci could write backwards in cursive and he took notes that way or
Okay.
something because, what a weirdo. So I was like, I can learn to do that. And then I did. And that's the story. And it's so great.
And it's so great.
Yeah. And then I found $5.
Just now? Or while you
No,
were
that's what that's what I say when I tell a story and it's not interesting.
That was interesting.
Okay.
I think
Well
you're gonna
then
have to do a stream, or maybe someday when you're streaming, we'll just be
when
like,
I
hold up.
yeah,
Remember when you said you could write backwards?
just call it back. Totally. Because like I
Yeah.
could do it now, but would it look the right way around and you wouldn't watch the process,
I don't
so
know.
is
That's
it really
more
fun?
backwards camera, like math stuff that
None of
makes
that
my head
now.
hurt.
You're right,
Yeah.
none of that.
Okay, sorry. I should have done this earlier, but now you can see what it's gonna look like. Ta-da! Seymour.
Aw.
Okay.
No name slob says Seymour is perfect the way that he is. And also that they're having an emotional reaction to this Sprite news.
I knew it. I knew some people would. Um, so one other thing that you can do, which I didn't do the first time, I think I will probably continue to do from now on, is take a fine grit sandpaper. I just have the like Home Depot kind, but you can also find it at the um, craft stores in little blocks. That's what it's called, a sanding block, and just kind of give the linoleum some grit. The benefit of this is it kind of cleans it up a little bit. It will give it a little bit more something for the ink to just kind of hold on to. It's not there's no gouging or anything like that. It's just literally taking off a bit of that sheen.
This is like a very high number that there was recommended to use, right?
Yeah, like this is 400. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I didn't have 400. I'm sorry. I had 600, so I used 600.
Well, aren't
Even
you fancy?
finer. The
Okay,
finest
so this is the pencil side.
that I
I'm
have.
turning it over and I'm just going to center Seymour and then use this tool. I could trace it again. Everything I've read is like ballpoint pen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also not trying to gouge or make an impression. and I found that this essentially does the same thing. Yeah, because all we're doing is just really transferring the pattern, and then we're going to go in with your permanent marker
Sharpay.
and trace it. Um, if you're interested in doing this, definitely do some searching online. There's a couple blogs. There's a lot of ways, um, and some YouTube videos, tutorials. So you'll also see people take, and this is, I've seen this a lot of times if you're just like, they're going in and just straight up carving, not using a pattern. So they'll actually put a wash of ink on there, and then as they cut and carve away, they see what's happening on the picture. But you know what? We're not experts yet, so we're doing it the old-fashioned way.
Which which tool do I want to use for the detail, to start with the detail-y stuff? Just like this
Um,
sharp one?
there's gonna be ones that are like V-shaped, a very fine V-shaped one. They're one that's gonna be shallow in your carving. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like you want to trace the outline first and then go in there with those fine details. The bigger, like shovel looking ones, you're gonna want to use for carving away carving away the bigger pieces.
Okay. This one's a V, this one's a U, this one looks like a shovel. Those are the technical lino terms.
For sure. The other thing I forgot to fix for myself is when you've got lines that are really close to each other, sometimes it's hard, especially when you're new and starting out. So
Mm-hmm.
I should have given myself a little bit more room, but I'm trying to do that now with my Sharpie. So so is anybody in chat? Did I already ask this? If anybody's done this before? I know Emerald, you said you did it in college. Do you remember what you made?
I made like the infinity symbol, the symbol for infinity.
Okay,
It was part of a bookmaking project where you had to use a stamp that you made.
gotcha.
And I made like it was like a foldy book that could keep going. And so it was like, this is the book that never ends. And then you
Oh,
would
yeah,
fold
yeah,
it. It was
yeah.
like, it goes on and on. So it was a combo printing thing.
Nice.
Alyssa says that she thinks she did this once in high school, but she can't remember what she made.
Oh,
Mr.
fancy high
Maxer
school.
says never. And I'm pretty sure it turned out terribly as her follow-up.
I had I think I had some art classes, but we never did things like this. But I remember I had a home ec. That's what we called it at the time. In seventh grade, I was in home ec, seventh or eighth grade, and I made a guinea pig, sewed a guinea pig, and I had kept that thing all the way through high school.
Oh.
It was pretty cute. I do not remember if the guinea pig had a name.
Retroactive naming?
I don't know.
Gus?
We can name him later.
Oh, no name slop says nope, but running out to buy some supplies ASAP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, BRB, me too.
Okay.
I just love that like underbite with the fangs. So cute. This one that you're making, I showed my mom all of these, and this one's her favorite.
fish. Well, he's
Mm-hmm.
actually, ooh, I almost forgot his eyeball. He's also a combination of
Oh,
other
he's a
too. Like,
combo. Well,
yeah,
oh, then
I wanted the underbite, and then I also wanted that it's an angler fish, right? Is the one
mm-hmm.
that has, yeah. So
Yeah.
then I was like, he's got to have some angler stuff happening.
That's the one. So then she didn't like this one. She hates this one. No, I'm just kidding. She
Wow,
likes the
Emerald's
angler
mom.
one. So, but I like the underbite.
Underbite's cool. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see
Right,
how
right, right.
close I can get to the camera, and you can. So here is. Can you see that,
As a
Jess?
V,
Maybe. This is
you can
a
kind of see it.
tiny
Yeah.
V.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little. Oh, this is a very tiny V. Should I do it like makeup tutorials? I could.
You're
That's
like,
yeah.
where's the camera?
So there's a couple different V's, very sharp, and then more U-shaped. Here's a big
No, I don't
flat
do this way.
U-shaped one. Oh yeah, there you go.
I
You've
don't
got
know.
the camera, so you can do it. And this one is really kind of the shallow scooping. This one, I'm not sure
Face
what this
it.
one's for. It's got
What
like
is
a
it
little
for?
divot. There's yours. Yeah, there you go. Mine's got this. So this one has like a little divot and then two big shovel-y things on the end.
Oh.
And then this one is a flat kind of X-Acto knife kind of style. So that's what we're going to use. I'm going to take the really sharp V-point one right now and do some, I think I have to put this on first. Yeah. Again, this pointy section is real sharp. So if you're doing this at home, be careful. Or anywhere. I mean, if you're doing it at,
What if I'm doing it on a train?
yeah, I mean, maybe don't do it on a train where things are movable. I do have
Ah.
the safety thing. So
Oh.
it was part of my kit and it holds it. You
Like
can also,
stability and safety all in one.
yeah, you can also put what's the little texture things that you use like in your kitchen drawers too, so your stuff
Oh,
doesn't shift
yeah, I know
around.
it's like not contact paper, but it's like rubbery and like has holes
Yeah.
and like a yeah, I don't know what
Yes,
it's
you
called.
could also put it there as well, but with these smaller pieces, I need to like move it to get the curves. All right, so we're just going to go in. I'm going to do a couple of test strips so you can see. It makes very shallow cuts. This one does. My little brush. Can you see? Can't. It's not showing through.
Oh, it
Okay.
is very shallow. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like a learning process of like how much pressure you want to use, right? From what I am experiencing now, slash what I remember.
Yeah, and your carving experience tonight is going to be a little bit different than mine because you've got the softer
Mm,
linoleum. So it's
mm-hmm.
going to be a little bit easier for you to like get in there and dig down.
Oh, good.
Um, Whereas me, I need to kind of remember that it's a shallow cut only that's needed.
I did feel like I made a strategical error, though. I was like, there's too many curved lines on this. I should have done only straight lines. What was I thinking?
So I have some curved lines, and when I was doing this, I found that
Okay.
keeping your knife steady
Mm-hmm.
and moving the linoleum as you're with pressure
Oh,
makes it a little bit
a
easier than,
genius.
I don't know,
Okay,
trial and error. Trial and error.
do you?
Also,
Oh, go ahead.
round things are really hard to carve out. Like literal
Mm,
circles, real hard. So,
great. Can't wait for the eyeballs.
what were you gonna ask?
Oh, do you have like a way to remember? Speaking of like flip-flopping and brain challenges, do you have a way to like for you to remember which is going to be the part that's inked and which isn't on your
I haven't really done too complicated of things. From what I've read and seen, is when you're doing your tracing or drawing, um, it would be as if you're, planning to do, well, you just got to plan ahead. So if you're going to freehand something on your linoleum, freehand it out first on paper so you can see what it looks like, how it might lay out, deciding what parts are going to be the print, what parts aren't. I haven't really, at this point, anything that's black is going to be the print, so I'm just cutting away everything else.
Nice.
I would like to make some more complicated pieces or just more detailed, and then eventually multiple colors. And then the way to do multiple colors, there's a couple ways to do it. Oh, let's get rid of that. One of the ways is to do multiple copies of what you've got. So say I wanted to make him kind of 3D looking, so it'd be the three colors. And I could make him print it on another piece of linoleum, but offset and then carve
Oh.
that, and then offset it again and make a third one so that each one will be a little bit shifted, and then that's how I make my print. So the first one, and then the next one, and then the next one. So that's a way. A lot of times you'll see Lino cut prints with, like if it was a mountain scene. So the mountains are one color and the grasslands are another color and trees are another color. It's literally different pieces of lino that they've kind of puzzled out and carved and then put on there. The other way to do it is destructive, kind of a like exclusive piece. So you would carve him, and then the next section you'd carve another thing on the actual already known piece. So that
Oh.
itself would be different colors. That one I think it seems a little bit more complicated to me because one, at the end you wouldn't be able to use it for anything other than the last print that you
Mm-hmm.
did, the last color. Um, and you'd have to really think about how you carve it so that it turns into a final piece as you make the prints. So you're like printing basically after every carving. And it
Mm.
only works for one. Unless you
Boo.
do like multiples. Like I'm going to make 6 of these, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah, that tutorial with the like plant,
Mhm.
I was like, I would get so confused with all the different like leaves overlapping. It was like
Yeah.
some of them, the like leaf part was the part that was inked, and some of it was like the vein part, and I was like,
Yeah, I think the woman that I sent you the YouTube video, she actually I wrote it down. Smishstudio.com, SMISH studio.com. She is a established lino cutter printmaker. Um, so she definitely knows how to plan her pieces out.
knows what's up. Yeah. But it definitely has like a kind of 3D brain type of thought behind it. It's just like a different way of thinking about art, which is cool, but also, confusing for a
Yeah.
newbie like me.
And I think the more you do it and then the more complicated pieces that you start making, the more you understand how the medium works, how it's going to look like on the paper.
Hmm. Yeah, because essentially, like, I have no idea. Who knows? Here's a fun thing that I just realized. I was like, oh, I gotta be careful on the edge of a line. And I was like, wait, no, I don't, because then I want to keep carving the edge to make it go away.
Yes, exactly.
So many fun new things to learn. Like
So you
what?
you can there is a way to repair if you like get overzealous or accidentally kind of carve away stuff you didn't mean to.
Oh.
Um I am not prepared to do any of that tonight, so if I mess up, I mess up. But it's, you got to kind of tape and mask away the area, use super glue, and like be very precise. It's like almost lino
Mm.
cut surgery at this point.
Lino cut surgery.
All right.
Scalpel. We already have a
So
scalpel.
I've got the outline you can see carved away. Ooh, look at this guy. He's still hanging on for dear life right down here. So let's try to get rid of him. I got the outside carved. So now I'm going to go on the inside.
I'm like too scared to do. She might just be faceless. I'm too scared to do a face.
Yeah, I would start with some of the bigger strokes maybe and just get used to how the knives feel. Knives. The knives feel in your hands.
Oh, look at this one. It's like all one strip here that I did. Ooh, bleh.
Nice. Let's show everybody where you're at with your carving.
This is where I'm at. So the part that you can't see is the hair. So I've
Nice.
done all of her hair. Yeah.
So I was inspired by the movie Sea Beasts on Netflix.
I've
Have
seen
you
it.
watched it?
Yeah. Do you even know me, girl? Like, come on.
It's so cute.
It was very, very cute. Yeah, I liked it.
So I was like, ocean themed, what are we gonna do? And then
Mhm.
one day was like, oh my gosh, I'll watch this movie. And then I
I will
thought,
do
wait a
it.
minute, we can make Lino Cut.
Yeah,
What's
it's
what's
very
interesting is a
cute.
lot of those, if you look up like vintage sea beasts or sea monsters or things like that, that
Mhm.
type of style is made from wood block printing. That kind of old
Oh.
school sea monster look.
Hmm.
I lost my place. Where was I? Oh, inside of his eye.
Who knew?
Yeah, I'm actually a big Carl Urban fan.
Oh, I
So
mean,
when I
samesies.
I was like, why does it sound like Butcher is in this movie?
I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Aomer. I'm pretty sure. Let
Yeah,
me check.
yeah, it definitely was.
And it was, yeah, he's cute. That's a cute movie. Oh yeah, we have a question about how deep do you have to carve? And I have a follow-up, and my follow-up is how wide do you do you recommend? Like, do you just stay with the width of the thing, or do you add deeper? Or like, I know if you kind of dig in a little deeper, obviously you'll make it a little wider. So
Um,
two-pronged question: how deep, how wide?
deep and wide, deep and wide. Okay, so I you don't really have to go very deep. You're not, it's not like you're scooping ice cream. There is some kind of scooping involved, but it's really mostly just I can't even measure what
Hmm.
it might be, you
Yeah, it's
know.
not very much.
It's not very
Like,
much at all.
yeah.
The biggest thing will be how it's inked. So one of the things we may not have time to do tonight because it's a bit of a process, but is you really want to get the ink um very thin and very even, and when you're laying it on the lino cut to make the print, it's almost like you're stacking the ink itself. So we're going hopefully be able to do it tonight, but you're going to roll out the ink and in the first picture I showed you guys, that was my first time, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna, ink it," and it was literally all over the place. So, um, it's literally a stacking of the ink on top of it, so it's more than just a one-time roll and then rolling on there. And that is mostly to make sure that you don't get the ink in your recessed areas. You're only going
Mhm.
to, oh, hello, Emerald's kitty.
Hey, Briscoe, I'm gonna probably stab you if you stay there.
So it doesn't require
Unintentionally.
it doesn't require a lot of depth, but it just requires a little bit of finesse when it comes to the inking part. And
That
you
is
can
good
work
to
to
know.
make your project as clean or as messy as you want to. Like the first one, I kind of kept the excess lines and made it feel a little bit more rustic. Seymour, I kind
Yeah,
of
that's
want
kind
him
of like
to
a
be a little
stylistic,
clean.
like if you want like a really clean one, you might try to go, I mean, from what I know, you might try to go much super deep just to make sure like your what is this called again? The roly thing?
Brayer,
Your brayer, just make sure your brayer doesn't like pick up and then deposit some ink like deeper in there, but
right. Thank you for your question.
yes, good one. Uh, Alyssa also says +1 Carl Urban.
I
Okay, sir,
mean,
you need to leave. Thank you. Goodbye. Not Carl Urban. Briscoe, my cat.
yeah.
He can stay forever.
Lino cutting with Carl.
I don't think so. Get away.
I
Yeah.
have dogs scratching at my door, so
I did think about locking Briscoe out because I was like, this is one where I definitely don't want him to be like bumping me,
yeah,
but he was asleep, so I was like, it'll be
it'll be
fine.
fine.
How wrong I was.
That's the
Alas.
danger when you have a cat. You think one thing, the cat's
Mhm.
gonna be like, I know what she's thinking.
It's like
She
it is really like he knows exactly when it'll be most inconvenient. Like
when
that's when
can
I'm
I
gonna
annoy her the most?
yeah, that's what I'm gonna show. Or like it's like he has a sense too for how if he's making biscuits on my lap and I'm
Yeah.
like, I really need to get up now. That's when he'll choose to lay down and I'm like, oh, did you know I was about to get up? You little jerk. So rude. Mm. Well, now he's meowing. He's like, oh, she won't let me hang out with her. Wah."
You're so rude. My
I
gosh.
know. I really am the worst, just when I'm just like concerned for his safety and my safety. What was I do? I was cutting paper. We have like a paper cutter with
Mhm.
the saw, and he
Oh, I love
came
those.
and he laid on it while it was open, and I was like, I need to shut it, but literally your tail is right
Your
there.
tail's in the way. Bye
It
bye
seems like a
tail.
horrible idea.
I actually needed to cut some paper today at my office at work, not my home office, my work office.
Hmm.
And I was really disappointed I couldn't find a big paper chopper.
Oh
I love those things.
no. Oh, they're so satisfying. My only problem with it is it doesn't really fit anywhere on like a desk or so we have to like kind of the handle part kind of squish it down to get it into like where we're currently keeping it. Which
Yeah, it's
then,
kind of like
yeah.
those extra large cutting boards. Like you really want it 3 times
Hmm.
a year, but like where does it actually get
Where do you
stored?
keep it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Briscoe does want to be a Twitch star. That's true. It's like just let me have my shot at fame. And I'm like, dude, no. Nobody wants to see your butt. So on your mountain one, did you like design that or did you buy that design or how did you choose to make that one?
The mountain one, I did design it, drew it out.
This is
It
real
was
cute.
oh, thanks. I had a big number birthday this year and so decided
Sweet
for
16?
the 16. I know. It was such a crazy party.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to do something fun with my sisters. And one of them couldn't make it, so if she
Aw.
ever watches this, I'm sorry that you couldn't make it, but we'll hook up later. Um and I was like, what can we do that everybody can come here where it's not crazy hot? This was before last week.
Hilarious.
Yeah. And we all drink wine, so we just went up to Woodinville for a good 4-day weekend. And so I was like, mountains,
Nice.
wine, make a little commemorative book bag for them.
That's so cute. What a fun, like, gift. I love a gift that's like a memory also.
Yeah. I know. I kind of thought about here's where the whole writing things. I'm like, oh, I should do like, wine weekend or something with words on it and numbers to commemorate the year. And then I
Mm-hmm.
realized that that would have been a big mistake. So
Gal's birthday
yeah,
trip
no,
2022.
no. So they only got mountains and a wine bottle.
I mean, that's classier anyway, so nailed it. Have you been to the Westport Winery?
I have not.
I only mention it because there's a mermaid museum attached to it also.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, just went into one of my.
pretty
Um,
cute.
is it in Washington?
Yes, it is. It
In
is.
Woodinville?
Oh no, it's in Westport. It's on the
Oh,
ocean.
Westport's the city. Gotcha.
Yeah, unrelated
No,
to
but I'm
Woodinville.
open to going more wineries. I don't know
Ooh.
how people like I feel like it has to be a full trip. Like you can't drive to Woodinville and then drive home. That's just
Oh yeah, it's kind of far.
that's not well, yeah, and then especially if you're I mean
If you're drinking.
one tasting and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm calling an Uber. Maybe it's
Yeah,
just
bye.
me being a lightweight.
I am also lightweight, so well, it is not sponsored by West City of Westport or Westport Winery,
Or
but it is
Woodinville.
or Woodinville or wine in general. But it is a great place because it's just like 20 minutes from the beach, so it's a good like you could go for a beach trip, and then there's a winery in the city, and they have like a mermaid museum and a big like attached garden that you can just go view like the grounds as it were for free.
Nice.
I do love a garden.
Right. So his inside tail is done. I left a little bit of the ridges just because it looks like fins.
Oh,
So
nice.
where else? Let's see.
If you were gonna open like a museum to something
Okay.
like that was unusual, like a mermaid museum or like a Sasquatch museum, what would you want to open? What type of museum would Tina want to open? A Lino Cut
To
museum?
be an unusual museum.
No, no, I guess not. It was, I just thought of this question off the top of my head, so you can be whatever you want.
I honestly think I would do a nerd museum
Ooh, a
and just have it.
geekseum.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Copyright that. Trademarked.
2022.
um, I don't know. I think there's so much about geek culture and nerd culture that is just so cool. And it's not even just like comic books or whatever. I mean, I was talking to somebody about how big, how they were like, "Oh, I'm not nerdy or I'm not a geek. I'm not geeky enough." I'm like, "If you
It's
can
not
geek out
true.
about anything. Like what I was like, "Well, what do you geek out about? Like what is it that you're passionate about?" And this girl said, "Well, someday I'll want to make my own tequila." I'm like, "Great, you're a tequila geek." Like that's literally what it is. So whatever you're passionate about is what you're geeking out about.
Love that. Yeah, everybody's a geek about something.
Yes. That's a good chat question. What are you
Oh,
a geek
yeah.
about? I
What are
mean,
you a
other
geek
than
about,
what do
chat?
you, yeah. Or what's your museum?
Either for something that you're super into and you wouldn't mind, or you feel like there's a need, like, oh, why isn't there a Sasquatch museum? There should
I'm
be.
sure there's Sasquatch museums. I do not understand that phenomenon at all whatsoever.
I like an interactive museum, so Oh,
So
you
you'd
know
have
what
to
would
get real Sasquatch to show up at
Yeah,
that one.
I think that he's probably
Like the
booked.
Henderson movie. Is that what Henderson's? Is this
I
Sasquatch
don't
movie?
know.
Something Henderson's. Harry the
It sounds familiar. Sounds right? I don't know. I'm still too afraid to do this mermaid's face. Oh, but what I like about your imaginary geek museum is
Mhm.
that it can be multi-dimensional, like you could have so many geek exhibits
Yeah. All
on
kinds of things.
you could do a whole in your like seasonal on tour display. I don't know.
Yes, yes.
You could
That's
do
what
a
it's
Lino
called.
Cut
That's
one and it could
super
be all
fancy.
geeky Lino Cut stuff.
Yeah.
Harry and the
Well,
Hendersons.
Harry and the Hendersons. I knew it was something like that.
And Alyssa wants a 90s kid museum and says it sounds rad.
Lisa Frank.
Ooh, a Lisa Frank museum. I'll bet there's been an exhibit. That sounds like something an art museum would do an exhibit on, like in a
Probably, yeah.
modern
A
exhibit,
Mopop exhibit
a
on the
Mopop exhibit.
90s.
Yeah, I would go to that. And so would Sir Matzer.
My favorite kind of museum is a natural history museum.
Ooh, yeah. That's good. Dinosaurs.
Yeah. Dinosaurs, stuffed mammoths, things like that.
Geology.
Yeah. Are we doing on time? Oh, okay. We've been at this for an hour. This is not a quick project. So may we'll go a little bit longer of carving and then I'll probably switch over to what I like to call the Julia Child effect and we'll make a print with a finished one. We'll take it out of the oven.
Is that your Julia Child voice?
That's my bad Julia Child voice.
Nailing it. Yeah, I'm like, how bad? Like, safety first. How bad is it that I'm holding the linoleum in my hand to do this? Safety, safety watch.
Do as we say, not as we do,
Yeah.
children. That kind
hmm
of thing.
That.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, there's a lot of like blank space on mine, and I'm just annoyed about it because it just means I just have to scrape all that off.
Yeah, so the one thing about your softer one is that you can cut away at it,
Oh. Hmm.
whereas Seymour number one. So see how I basically cut around him.
Uh-huh. So you
So
didn't
I
have to
only
just
had,
keep gouging forever.
yeah. Yes, indeed. But I don't know. I kind of like these slow, precise. I don't want to say tedious, but where you have to be kind of careful. Put
Mm-hmm.
some music on or listen to a podcast or something and just kind of zone out.
It's like a good mindfulness craft,
Yeah,
where
very.
you really have to kind of be present in the moment.
Yeah.
Not too much brain work, right? But just enough.
Yeah, maybe brain work before you do it while you're planning it out, but when the
Hmm.
actual carving is happening, you can
It's
just
not
kind
that
of
bad.
zone out and get into it.
Like once you like know how to like crochet or knit, you're like just kind of doing it.
Yeah, I made my first little macrame thing yesterday, and I thought this
Oh.
can't be that complicated.
I
Turns
mean,
out,
how'd it
turns
go?
out no.
What did you make?
I made like a little keychain, and I wanted to make it like a mermaid tail. So
Ah,
there's,
cute.
um, but I learned that I need a tutorial that tells me left and right versus just shows me. Because showing me
Mm.
left and right, looking at it on a screen and then looking at it on my hands, it's backwards in my
Oh
brain.
yeah, it's confusing.
So I'm like, okay, is this left or is this right? So,
Yeah,
any of
that's
those
hard.
macrame people watching and you're doing tutorials, say left and right, please. Thank you.
Mhm. I have a book. I can't do it probably for that reason from like a YouTube tutorial because I will get confused.
Yeah, it was really, I mean,
100%.
the YouTube tutorial that I found was very, very informative. And I was like, Psh, I got this. And my
Mhm.
brain was like, no, you don't. So I had to find it. I had to
What?
find somebody in a blog post where they didn't even have left and right, but they had process pictures. So I could
Oh,
be like,
okay.
oh,
That's
that's the
helpful.
left one I'm doing, and that's the right one that I'm moving. I got it
I'm
eventually, but I need to definitely make more in order for it to not look dumb.
Yeah. I'm like just trying to learn enough macrame also, and I'm just like have just enough knowledge to like just be frustrated with it so far. But I do have my current project. Do you want to see it? I'm pretty
Yes,
excited about it.
yes.
Are you ready?
It's a tree.
It's a dream catcher.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. I showed this to my mom and she said,
That's your first one?
"No, I've made a plant hanger also." So this is my second one.
Yeah.
But I showed it to my mom and she's like, "You should do all the different types of trees." And I was like, "No, why?
Oh
That's
my
so many
gosh.
different types of trees. Why
So
would I
many
do that?"
trees. I love it. That's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm pretty pleased with that. I do like trees. But now it's into like the repetitive part at the bottom where you just like twist and twist. So I just need to
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like be in the mood.
Sit down and do it.
Yeah.
What's a craft or an art that you want to do but haven't yet?
Oh, resin.
Ooh,
Mhm.
yes. Like big resin or small resin?
I think like big or medium to big. Like I want to do like, table,
Okay.
not like dining tables, but like end table size.
Yeah. Yeah. So like taking a piece of reclaimed furniture and then
Mhm.
tearing it apart, doing
Yes.
resin to it and putting it back together.
Yes. That sounds perfect.
I'm here for that. I think
Mm.
I would like to do small resin, like
Mhm.
dice or pieces
Ooh,
for
dice would be fun.
jewelry. Because I have stuff to make jewelry, so I've already got like a lot of the tools.
I did really like the coasters that Christina showed us on the patio happy hour. I was like, that's very
Mm,
cute.
yeah. This lino cutting was one thing that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I saw the kit that I bought at an art store in Tacoma, and I was like, I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but I'm buying this kit right now.
Mhm.
So at least I have it here. And I think that was last year. So I finally was like, okay, let's be
You got
creative.
to it.
Okay, so we have a question, thank you, Prime, from No Name Slob, who I know personally, and she will get a talking to tomorrow. What podcast do I listen to? Do you have podcast? Are you a podcast listener, Emerald?
Really. I
No,
have, yeah, I have some. I mean, I listen to like Nothing Much Happens at night to sleep. And I do like Unladylike and Wait, Don't Tell Me. But yeah, not really. I have like some in my like playlist, but I just never seem to get to them. I'm more of a book on tape or music listener when I'm zoning out.
I go through phases. Sometimes I can listen to books. Other times I need to switch to music, and then right now I'm back on my podcast kick. Um, I am my one that I'm marathoning, and I refuse to listen to any of the new ones until I get, I have to listen to them in a row.
Mhm.
Is well, now I can't remember what it's called. Movies to Die For? Brett Goldstein, the guy who played the um kind of angry but empathetic soccer player in Ted Lasso.
Mhm.
He's got a movie podcast, so that's what I've been listening to. Brene Brown, she's always a good one to listen to, but then
Mhm.
she gets you in your feels, so I guess you got to
Oh
be in
yeah, it's hard.
the
Yeah.
spot. There's some other ones that I listen to, but I
Are
think
you
Brett's right
a
now is.
murder podcast listener?
You know what my husband is? He really likes that the documentary style ones. I
Mhm.
can listen to it, but I often have so many questions that
Mhm.
it's like I want to have a resolution for every episode, and a lot
Mhm.
of times those murder mystery ones are ones that just go on it. Like you literally never find out what's happening.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm almost done, like, kind of outlining the carve, and then I'm gonna switch to working on the ink to make a real print just for time. But you can see how this will take a little bit of time.
This seaweed is really fun to dig out, and I end up with like these pieces that look like this like little wiggly piece here.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, satisfying.
Okay, so essentially, I've got most of him lined right now, and then what I would do is switch. In Emerald's case, switch knives. I would switch out my blade to the shovelly type one. You can kind of see it barely there, maybe. And just kind of start taking out the rest of the inside. So let's take this apart really fast. We'll put it away so I don't lose pieces. And I will finish him later, but we'll switch to the ink making process. He's so cute.
It is very cute. See more.
All right. So one thing you want to make sure of in your brayering is that your brayer is bigger than your piece. So that so you don't get lines from the roller onto your lino cut, which then transfers to your paper. So you just want to make sure the widest part of your lino cut fits within the brayer. Woo, here we go.
Oh boy, she's pulling out the gloves. She means business.
The cool thing about doing this on my cutting mat is I can see how wide he is and then know how wide to make my ink.
La dee da.
I just realized that, so it's not like I knew like that was a secret. That's a lot.
You've
That's a
known
lot of
that
ink.
forever. Oh, is that what this is for? Mine came with this thing, and I was like, is this for like squishing down the ink?
Probably, yeah. I don't have
Cool.
one of those or a
I'm like,
spatula.
I don't know what this is. But it says boss on it, so I
So
guess
you're
I'm the
gonna be a
boss.
boss.
Yeah.
So this is a lot. This is a lot of ink. Definitely more than I should have laid down. Trial and error.
Yeah.
Failure to excellence.
What an excellent demonstration of what not to do.
Of what not to do. I could probably find a knife and scrape it away, but so let's see if we can see the difference between like how much ink is here and then how much ink is here. This is kind of, maybe we'll just swap to this area.
Now, if you make a lino cut and then you print with it, and then you're like, "Ugh, I don't really like that," you can still carve away on what you've already used, right?
Sure, and that is one, I didn't really say it before, but less is more as you're carving. Usually, you want to do, like a test print, see how if you need to carve more, if you need to lay ink down more in one spot. Um, if you've got too much ink, maybe you can kind of scrape it away and start over.
If you tried to be fancy and you were like, "I'll make the eyeballs be hollow," and
I'm
then
gonna
you're
give my
like,
mermaid a face, and then you're like, maybe not.
"What have I done?"
You can just carve out her face altogether and then hand draw in the eyes and mouth, that kind of thing. So you can see here there's like almost a little bit of texture. It's not like goopy. The difference, goopy, too much ink, some beautiful texture, just
You're
enough ink.
goopy.
You're goopy.
How dare you?
All right, and then you just kind of want to make sure you get an even amount of ink on the brayer. The cool thing is they have these little rests on them. So I'm gonna rest that there and grab some paper. Actually, let's do one of these. We'll do it on the fancy paper.
Oh, wow. Somebody's confident.
No, I just literally ripped it into a weird shape. So it's just a like test.
It's a stylistic choice.
Yeah. We're gonna put Seymour in on. All right, so now I'm just gently rolling, trying to make it even. It's kind of hard because I cut away everything and I can't just.
Have
All
you
right.
made a did you make a print with your fish before already, or is this your first fish print?
I did not make a fish print. Okay,
Oh,
so let me see. So what I've got here, he's got ink on him, and I'm going to put the paper down, and then I'm going to use the end of this as the brayer, or Emerald has the back of her spoon, and you're just kind of light pressure back and forth. Your paper is going to stick to the ink, but you don't want to get too crazy and you're like shoving it around because then you could shift the piece. So it's just a light pressure. What is this called again? Baron, not brayer. Brayer is that one, this device.
a lot of B words.
Yeah, a lot of B words. And then you just want to kind of slowly peel it up. Oh my,
Oh, I saw a sneak peek. Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
he
Seymour.
is so cute.
Oh,
He is nervous about something. All
yeah.
right, so what you can do is kind of look at it and see if there's anything you want to change or get rid of. I accidentally made his eye real skinny, like I carved on both sides, so there's not really much I can do there for that section. Um, his tail piece, there's a little bit here I could carve away, but because it's fin, I will probably just leave it. So you want to do a couple, like Emerald said, a couple of test prints to see if there's anything you want to change. He's pretty darn cute as he is, and I've already kind of carved him, maxed him out. So yeah, so let's get some the print maker paper
Oh
and
boy. Oh yeah, circles are annoying. Oh, I never would have guessed.
so how about um chat? I don't know how many people are watching, but if you would like, ow, watch where you're going, Tina. If you would like a Seymour print, um, I guess just type in Seymour in chat. Maybe Prime, you can get a list of the people that are typing it in, and I'll reach out to you. We'll pick a winner, and I'll reach out to you and mail it to you, so you get a little Tina Burns original.
Oh my gosh, can I post Seymour in chat?
Can you post Seymour in chat? Oh yes, you can. I was like, wait, what are you asking?
Uh,
So this will be our,
what a fun gift.
this will be the official one. And I also want to know who in chat is going to buy their own Lino Cut kit, and you can send it to us on tag us on Twitter or our socials or Facebook when you do make it. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, because I don't think I'm gonna have time to print mine because I still have to cut it. But
Yeah.
I'm almost done with the carving. Here's where I'm at. So I
Love
just have to
it.
finish this little seaweed, and then I have to figure out it's the fish's eye because I was like, oh, I'll carve out the inside of the eye so it's like a blank space, but then I need to do a line of somehow. I just got to figure that out with my brain. Fortunately, like because their eyes already looked all crazy, There not being perfect circles will just be an added win.
Ta-da!
Oh my gosh, that looks professional.
How about that?
Yeah,
But
that looks really good.
I, thanks. Somewhere I have a little stamp. I just bought a stamp. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. All right, so Thursday we are doing a let's play of Maneater. So if you've ever wanted to be a shark and rule the seas, this is the game for you. So join us on Thursday, starts at 7. I'm not sure who's playing, but I'm sure it'll be a good time no matter what.
Yeah,
So now
a shark is playing.
a shark is playing, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
It's what they call it, a shark PG.
Shark PG, Sharknado.
Because you're
I
role
wonder if you
playing
can
as a
be a
shark.
Sharknado.
That would be cool.
Are we rating tonight? This is a message out to Prime. Let me know if we are gonna see if there's anybody online that we can raid tonight. Oh, nice. All right, so we are gonna do a raid. AZ Pinot. You'll
Noi?
see when we raid
Oh, I
Pinoy.
guess we'll have to
Pinoy.
find out.
So we're gonna hang around for that. Here's the final piece.
Ah, so cute. Your little signature stamp.
Yeah. One lucky winner will get this and for you to hang at home or throw away, I guess, if you don't want it.
I would have win it just to throw it in the trash.
I'm gonna burn it. Um, we will get a picture of Emeralds when she's
Yep.
done, and we'll put it out on our
It'll look
socials.
like this.
And yeah, I'm excited to see what she looks like.
Me
It'll be
too.
beautiful. Thanks for joining us. And any last minute questions or comments from the chat?
Mhm. Make sure you say hi to AZP Noi and, you know,
Come back on Thursday for
Shark PG.
Shark Bait. Ooh, ah, ah. Shark Bait. Ooh, ah.
Man eater, watch out for sure. Oh, wait, no singing.
Oh, you cut, lawyers.
Specialties only. They're at my house. No, they're not.
Ooh,
This has been super awesome. I
I'm so
love
glad
my
you joined
mermaid.
me.
I am too. I think I'm gonna even try to finish it tonight instead of just going to bed like I want to.
Oh, well, I don't blame me for that. Also, don't blame me for anybody's watching if you go out and spend money on this stuff because it's fun.
You're like, thanks for my new craft addiction.
Yeah, I know.
Rude. Well, I didn't even try using a different blade. I should do that for these little.
A different blade will definitely help you get rid of the big pieces, that like more shallow
Mm.
blade or things like that.
I'm doing this like
Okay then.
seaweedy one, and I was like, I think I could just gouge out the little pieces. Since it with the U.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All
Instead of,
right. I think we're ready whenever you are, Prime, to send us over. Thank you guys for watching tonight.
and
And we
thank
look
you,
forward.
Gina, for teaching.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we both learned as we went along, so that's all that matters.